Okay, let's talk about you. What companies did you interview for? What was the type of interviews you had to go through? And how was the McKinsey interview?
So I interviewed with a bunch of consulting companies. I do not want to name the other companies I interviewed with, but I definitely interviewed with McKinsey also because I am at McKinsey, and all of them were case interviews. All of them were a good mix of case plus personal fit plus just 5-10 minutes of getting to know you. Um, it's interesting because one consulting firms I was interviewing at, and this is a really important lesson that I really like to tell anyone who I know and meet who is interested in consulting is. So I was going up this elevator to interview at this consulting firm's office, and I meet this random person in the elevator and make small talk with them. And in general, I'm just telling them that I'm super nervous. It's my interview with this and this firm. So sorry if I'm babbling around. And he starts smiling and laughing, and we open up and we chat at length. And I ended up going and getting my interview. And turns out that the guy who was in the lift with me was an EM equivalent at another company. So after my interview is done, he goes up and he speaks to the interviewer, and they speak for like 15 minutes. And the next thing I know, I've got the offer. So there's small things like that that matter, but you also need to be good at what you do, right? You need to be good at the case interview. You need to make sure you're prepped for all your fit questions because they're gonna come and they're gonna ask you like really detailed questions. Tell me a time when you did a leadership role and you changed the team's direction. What happened when you tried to change the team's direction? Did you when people disagreed with you, how did you convince them? When the person who disagreed with you, were you confrontational or were you trying to essentially get them on the same side as you? How did you find common ground with them? So you really need to be honest about it, and you really need to be prepared about the questions and the cases that you're going to face.
So how many, when you say the EM person, can you just repeat that? I was unclear, and I think the audience was unclear too. You are taking the elevator, and then go ahead. What are you saying?
Yeah, sorry about that. I sometimes get so used to the consulting jargon. So when I say EM, that's someone who's an engagement manager. So
Okay, got it.
Someone who works, who's just below an associate partner. So they're pretty high up in the firm. And FI, they also make around 250,000. So, and that's before bonus. They get another bonus for like 70k, so they're pretty well off. But long story short, like there are people who are generally very influential in the firm, and what I'm saying is like you need to be presentable and professional even outside of your interview. Whether that be people you're meeting with on coffee chats or people you're meeting at career fairs, you leave an impression. People are going to remember that first time they met you. And if you leave a bad taste in the mouth, they're going to remember that. And if you leave a good taste in the mouth, they're going to remember that. So you need to put your best foot forward when you're professionally presenting yourself, no matter where you are. And the reason why I got that job, I honestly think is, I think there are lots of people who are very good and capable of doing consulting. That's not the problem. So the question is, are you good enough to get your foot in the door? And if you are there's two things I actually want to check. Whether are you likable and can they spend time with you? And the second is, can they put you in front of a client without you making a fool of yourself? That's pretty much it. I think those are the two things that I would try to focus on. Especially people who are from our background where our society isn't that social, where we just start chatting with the person sitting next to us or a random person in the elevator, so on and so forth.